Alright, welcome to this tutorial on getting started with redrawing your bridge design so that you have a template to actually build your model on. Okay, the printout that you have from the West Point Bridge Designer software is what your model is going to be, but it's not the correct size. So we have to redraw it so that we can work from the actual size design that we're going to be making our bridge. Okay, so and we're going to use a very easy way to convert our units here that we can see and make our bridge the right size. So if you look right here, member links, so all of the links that we see in here are all in meters. So like our member number 1, which we can find right over here because it's labeled with the number 1. That is 5.66 meters. Well, what we're going to do very easily is to say if it's 5.66 meters is supposed to be the actual length of it, the scale length that we're going to use, we're just going to say that's centimeters. So instead of meters, we're going to say it's 5.66 centimeters. Okay. The one down below, number 2, which is right here, okay, that's 4 meters, or in our conversion, it's going to be 4 centimeters, okay? So that's how we're going to tell how long to make everything. We also get a height over here, which will be helpful for us when we're redrawing as well, because you can see we have straight lines, we have perpendicular lines, and we have lines that go at an angle. And we should be able to do this redrawing without having to pull out a protractor or anything like that and try to figure out the angles, okay? All right, to redraw our bridge to the correct scale, we are going to have to use a legal size sheet of paper, which is a little bit longer than a standard size sheet of paper. It's actually 14 inches long, okay? Which will allow us to get our full bridge in there at the correct size, okay? So let's bring this back out a little bit. And if we start with our very bottom line, so I would suggest starting with, if you have any straight lines horizontally on your bridge, I would start with that line and figuring out the total length. And all of our bridges from end to end should be, if you did the correct elevation when you were designing it, should be 32 meters, or in our conversion, 32 centimeters long. Okay, so let's start by drawing this very bottom line here, okay, at 32 centimeters long. All right, so if you can see on my ruler here, I'm looking at my ruler, it only goes to 30 and really 30.5 centimeters. Okay, so it's not long enough, but that's easy enough to fix. So I'm going to go from here and I'm going to make a mark to show this is my starting point, and I'm going to draw a straight line all the way to 30. Okay, and then I'm going to put my ruler down, and I'm just going to line it up along my line so I can tell that the extension I'm going to make is in a straight line with the line I already have. And so I'm lining it up, and I'm just going to extend it another 2 centimeters to make 32 and make a little line there. Okay, so now I have the total length of my bridge. This is going to be the actual length of your model. All right, the next step I want to do is to draw this top line here. It's also a straight line. It's going to be not quite as long as our bottom line, and we need to know it's going to be centered, but we need to know exactly where we need to start it so that we can draw it in the correct relationship to our bottom line. Okay, so we can do this without using a protractor. Now we know it's 4 centimeters, going to be 4 centimeters high. So we can start by making a straight, or measuring that distance so we know where to draw our line along the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my ruler this way, okay, so that it's perpendicular, or like a cross, from my bottom line. And I'm going to line it up right at 0 here and make a mark right at 4 centimeters. Okay, then I'm going to move my ruler down a little ways, make sure it's on 0 still, make a mark at 4 centimeters. So I know that these 2 dots I just made are 4 centimeters above this bottom line here, okay, which is I know I want 4 centimeters above that, okay? Now, I need to figure out where to start this line. So let's look back at our model that we have. So I know that number 2, right here, this member, if I look over here, is 4 centimeters long. So this place right here, okay, goes up, or this member right here, number 3, also, if I look over here, just to confirm, it's 4 centimeters as well. Goes straight up and down, so that makes this angle right here a 90-degree angle, okay? So I know that if I measure from my very end all the way in to this joint right there, that's 4 centimeters, or going to be 4 centimeters, and I can measure straight up from there to another 4 centimeters to find this point right here. And I know this is the point I need to start my line to draw it across, okay? Your bridge is going to be a little different. I'm just kind of taking you through this one, but you will have the same, you can use the same techniques, okay, to figure out how to draw your bridge as well. All right, now I'm going to use a note card, okay, a note card to help me draw a perpendicular line. So, well, first I need to measure. All right, so right at 0, right over here, right at where my line starts, I'm going to make a mark at 4 centimeters, right there. Okay. Now I can use a note card, and there's plenty of them around the room. Line that up right there. Okay, I know a note card is also a 90-degree angle at the corner, and I can draw a straight line up right where I made my 4 centimeter mark. And now, if I line my ruler up with this line and that line that I made, I know that corner of my model is going to be right there. Okay, and I can do, we go back to here, I can do the very same thing from this side. So if I measure in 4 centimeters, and then I know this point, I know that this point is exactly 4 centimeters above that. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, and I'm actually going to put my ruler on 4 here and measure backwards to 0 and make a mark right there. Okay, again, using my note card, I know that it is at a 90-degree angle at the corner. Line that up right on the line, and then draw my line straight up and down. Okay, so now I have this point and this point. Okay, and if I measure, that should be, okay, from here to here, if I take 32 minus 8, so 32 minus the 4 here and 32 minus the 4 there, then I can get to 24. And if I measure this, this line is exactly 24 centimeters from here to here. Okay. Now, once you have that, once you have the kind of the basic structure of it down, you have your top line and you have your bottom line, everything else falls into place pretty easily. Okay. For instance, I know that this line goes from this point, the very end point, to the end point of the top line. So I can come right over here, place my ruler up here. Don't even need to measure. As long as I line those 2 points up, I can draw that angle. Same thing on this side. I know that this line is going to go from this point to my end point there. Okay? Now, I just need to make measurements, and you'd have to, you know, see what your measurements come out to be. But mine are going to be every 4 centimeters all the way across, on top and on bottom. Every 4 centimeters. I know I'm going to have one that goes up and down and one that goes diagonally. Okay? So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to quickly measure across and make a mark 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24 is already there. Okay? Same thing up at the top line. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24 is already there. Okay? So now I'm going to have a straight up and down line right there, and all the way across. Okay? And then I can look at my model to make sure I'm drawing the diagonal in the right direction. So I know it's going this direction here, and it's just going to go from this point to that point. I don't even have to measure it because I know I've done all the other measurements correctly. So all I need to do is draw the line, okay? And I can go across drawing my perpendicular lines, okay, the vertical lines going straight up and down, and the diagonal lines all the way across there, all right? And you're gonna work on your drawing just the same way until you have completed redrawing your model to scale, or to the scale that you're actually going to build your model. So I'm gonna use this as the template for my model, and I'll show you how to do that in the next video.